All right, today we are diving deep into a business model that promises, well, a hands-off e-commerce empire. I'm talking about Amazon automation. And to figure out how it all works, we're going to break down the service offered by one company in particular, Elite Automation, pulling everything we discussed today straight from their own website. So let's kick things off with a big question this whole idea is built on, right? Are you on the hunt for an online business, something you can call your own, but without the endless grind of a second job? Yeah, this is the exact problem that these done-for-you services are designed to solve. So just to be clear, our goal here is pretty straightforward. We're just walking through the done-for-you model as Elite Automation presents it. We're going to lay out what their service is all about based only on the information they provide. And here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that passive income promise. Then, we'll define what they mean by Amazon automation. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how their system works, what you actually need to start, and finally, we'll look at the results they claim and some really key questions they answer themselves. First up, let's talk about the big promise. I mean, this whole thing is built around a super powerful idea, creating a business asset that you don't have to manage day to day, specifically for people who already have packed schedules. And here it is right from their site. This one sentence tells you pretty much everything you need to know about their strategy. Their target audience is crystal clear, isn't it? Busy professionals, entrepreneurs, investors, people who've got capital to invest but just don't have the time to build a whole new business from scratch. Now, this is interesting. They actually put a number on it. They claim they handle 95% of the work. But you got to notice that phrasing, largely passive. It's a little qualifier that hints that, hey, the client still has some responsibilities, which of course leads us to wonder, what's in that other 5%? So what even is automation in this context? Well, it's not really about robots and AI taking over. It's much more about a very clear, very specific division of labor. And here's that breakdown. On one side, according to their website, Elite Automation handles all the operational heavy lifting. We're talking product research, setting up the store, dealing with suppliers, shipping, customer service, returns, the works. On the other side, the client, the investor, is all about the finances. You provide the capital, you fund the inventory purchases, and you manage the money coming in from Amazon. And to really get why a model like this even exists, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of Amazon's marketplace. Their site throws out this massive number, $574 billion in revenue for Amazon in 2023. They use that to frame the opportunity, pointing out that third-party sellers, exactly like the stores they build, make up more than half of all the sales on the platform. It's a gigantic pie, and they're basically offering you a way to get a slice. Okay, so we've covered the what and the who. Now let's really dig into the how. What does this whole journey look like from the moment you say yes? They actually map it out with a pretty specific timeline. Those first 2 to 3 months are all about onboarding and setup, getting the store live and starting to see those first sales trickle in. By about the 3-month mark, that initial scaling phase is considered done. And then somewhere around month 5 or 6, the store is expected to be running at what they call its full potential. So what does full potential actually mean in terms of money? Well, their stated goal is to hit a profit margin of at least 15% on the cost of the goods sold. They do mention that some clients even reach the 20 to 25% range, but that 15% figure is the baseline target they're shooting for with every store. This all might sound pretty appealing, but what does it actually take to get in the door? Let's take a look at what they say you need to bring to the table to get started. According to their site, there are 3 main things. First, there's a one-time upfront fee, which they compare to buying into a franchise. Second, and this is a big one, you need working capital or a line of credit to actually pay for all the inventory. And third, they mention they're looking for partners with a positive outlook, which probably means they want investors who get that this is a real business partnership, not some get-rich-quick button. Honestly, this quote just boils the entire business model down to 7 simple words. It's the perfect summary of the deal. The client brings the money, and Elite Automation brings the expertise to build the business, the asset. So, the million-dollar question. Does it actually work like they say it does? In this last section, we'll glance at the client results they feature on their site, and then tackle 2 really important questions they answer in their own FAQ. Check out this testimonial from a marketing director named Chandler. This quote really hammers home that hands-off promise, doesn't it? It's all about getting the reports and the profits without getting stuck in the weeds of daily operations. And here's another one, this time from a surgeon named Melissa. Again, it just reinforces exactly who this service is built for. She points out that she didn't have time to learn the ins and outs of e-commerce, which is the exact problem they're trying to solve. Okay, now for the question I'm sure a lot of you are thinking right now. If this model works so well, why wouldn't they just build and fund a ton of these stores for themselves? Well, to their credit, they tackle this question head on. And they give a 2-part answer. First, they bring up Amazon's really strict one account per household policy. But second, and this is key, they explain that their entire model is built to leverage client capital. Using their partners' funds allows them to scale up and buy inventory in bulk, which gets them better prices. They see this creates a win-win for everybody involved. The next question they clear up is a really important one for anyone doing their own research, and it's about brand confusion. Apparently, there's another company out there with a very similar name, and they make it a point to draw a very clear line in the sand. And wow, their answer is about as direct as it gets. They say, no, absolutely not. And they make it super clear that they are not the same company and have zero affiliation with Elite Automation Group. It's an obvious effort to avoid any mix-ups. So to wrap it all up, the service from Elite Automation is really positioned as a partnership. It's built for investors who can provide the capital, and in exchange, they get a fully managed e-commerce business where everyone's interests are aligned through a profit-sharing model. And that kind of leaves us with one final big picture thought. As these done-for-you models pop up more and more in every industry, it raises a really fascinating question about the future. What does it truly mean to own a business when you're not involved in running it day to day? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for watching.